Hi folks, this is Pete from PA Labs. I want to do some more of the videos on custom controls and helper stuff that I have written that you are more than welcome to. And the first on the agenda here is the DiceRoller. Now, there's a whole lot of functions on this screen, and I kind of want to start at the top and work my way down. I was working on this for a Dungeons and Dragons app I wrote a while back, and this is for version 4 of Dungeons and Dragons. If you guys are playing with that, I went ahead and left in the calc modifier. This is the breakout of what is your abilities modifier based on its value for the first 21 levels of a character. It's just a simple call, and you give it the value that somebody rolled, and it kicks back what the modifier is. Not a big deal, but some of these others. Now, what I want to point out is these three right here, the get random int roll dice and monster roll dice, are the core underlying calls that are made. If you just need a number between how many dice low and high, you could actually call this guy directly. But there are some subtle differences in these. So first here is the monster roll dice. And the monster roll dice has no cheating. If you roll a 3d6, it will roll a 3d6, one. If you roll, or excuse me, it'll roll three of them because you asked for three dice, 1 to 6 count. Okay, so not a big deal. It's just straight up random numbers and run with it. Now, I did one for rolling dice. And if you like roll characters, normally you roll a 3d6 for each of your abilities. Well, the base rule of Dungeons and Dragons is you'll roll 4 and keep your top 3. So I flagged in here where you would actually say, give me 3d6, and it's going to roll 4 because it cheats and adds 1 right here. Okay, so it gives the player just a slight advantage. This guy is called by these guys down here, so you don't really want to call him directly. And so then the next step in building this was to build a calculator. So you could do formulas like 3d6 plus 5 minus strength, STR. Okay, and this actually would calculate that. You would have to pass it a reference to your module that is your character, and it would go in and pull those values out. So the idea behind the calculators was that you could put in virtually any function formula of Dungeons and Dragons, and you can it'll kick it back. So you could do, strength plus modifier, modifier versus defense, any of those sorts of things. And it would actually calculate the right function for value coming back to you. You can add, multiply, divide. You can actually put stuff in parentheses, no big deal. It calculates pretty much everything you could imagine. And there's two sets. And the reason for two sets is back to, is it calling DiceRoller with the extra +1 cheat rolled in, or is it calling Monster, which does not have the cheat rolled in? So you're probably looking at this and saying, what on earth is this tracking thing? Well, let's come down here and look at some of the functions that I've built just for testing. So what we're doing down here, whoops, I went the wrong way, didn't I? This is going to roll a 3d6, and then he's going to show us in the tracker everything that he did. So if we went ahead and just ran this, they're pretty quick in running. Oh, I didn't define roll. Goodness. Okay, so we will say Okay, so there we go. DEFINE. I guess ING rolls off the fingers better. So there we go. Oh goodness, that's right. You're part of the great big project. That's why that's getting mad at me. Okay, so I'm still working with, these are functions inside the project that I'm going to put out there on the website for y'all to download. And it's got all of the utilities that I'm going to demo with examples and all of that. And so you have everything in one fell swoop. I'm going to try to get these finished up today and tomorrow, and I'll get that out onto the website for those who want. And then what I can do is, I pulled it out so it'll run independently. And so you can see that we ran a 3D6. So the DiceRoller is running a 3D6. This is a difference between what he thinks and what the other guy thinks in the calls. So you've got the 4 numbers that were run, and then he sorts them low to high, and then he takes the bottom 3. And so you can see the dice roll is this, and he's proving his math to you is what he's doing here. The idea being somebody calls BS on the roll of the machine and they want it proved. My thinking was, okay, fine, we'll build a list, and until you're comfortable that he's not cheating, then here you can actually see everything that the tracker did. And here's another one here. So you can actually get the tracking back. So if you actually wanted to roll a character and save the proof of the roll, it would be right here as well. So here's another case where we ran a 3D6, and this one did not run the 4 dice. He actually only did the 3, and his total was 10. So you could come in here and say, okay, roll monster dice +2. And then we would come down here, and that should, I hope, work. I haven't tested this in a while, but I mean, it was working last time. So then 3d6 +2 is, so if you added this up as 5 is 8 is 9 + 2 is 11. So there you go. You have the proof of the roll of what was done. So that was the idea. So you could actually play a game of Dungeons and Dragons and do your rolls. And if anybody calls BS, well, you have the math right there on your screen. Or if you're doing it in a program like I was, you could sequester that off with each interaction and keep track of it that way. So that's the first thing I want to show here, and we'll add it back. The next thing is my ListIcon Helper. Now, eventually, I do want to do a ListIcon gadget demo thingy and video for everybody. But this is a little helper module that you can utilize on whenever you use the ListIcon Helper. Now, this is also only, well, I do have Linux in here, but I'll be honest with you, I haven't tested the Linux side of things. I use this quite heavily in my coding in Windows. It works great because it kind of shells out to the Windows API. And I think maybe, yeah, it looks like I do. Okay. There we go. So you actually, whoops, where did you go? So you can actually see what some stuff is, right justifying, left justifying columns inside the ListIcon. Additional stuff is resizing. You can resize a list. You can resize an individual column. You can resize as a percentage. So you could actually say, I want this to be 30, 30, and what's that, 60, and so 30, 30, and 40% on, and put in 3 calls or whatever, however you want to break it up. And you just put a percentage that comes back to 100%. And there you go. You've resized your grid however you want. Let's see, here's where you're doing the justifications call, and this has its own enumerators up here. So I think, let's see, where are the enumerators? So hold on, they're here. The enumerators are here for justification. So it's justify column left, center, right. Pretty straightforward. It kind of makes logical sense. You'll see this in a lot of my code. Class Builder uses this just out of a general, you know how if you've watched the videos where I'm using Class Builder, you can see where we add a list view icon and you have a left, right, and center justification on a column. Well, this is what he's doing. He's generating these guys here, and this is the source code that it goes back to. This is included in virtually every program that I write. So that's a secondary one for this little video here, and explaining how some stuff works and tools and functions that you can use and have. Let's see, a third one. Let's go for 3. I don't think this has been going on that long. So in my static, I have a recycle file. So instead of deleting a file and making it go away, you can actually move it in Windows. You can move a file to the recycle bin, which is kind of cool. And then down at the bottom, I have a recursive folder search guy. So you can recursively look at a parent folder, and he'll look through all the children folder for any pattern match that you have. And if you notice, the pattern is just a comma delimited string, no quotes, no spaces, none of that junk. You just put it in as the pattern that you're matching. And then if you give 2 lists, this is what makes this one a bit different. You can have, it'll kick back a list of the folders it found inside your starting folder. It'll also give you a list of all the matching files it found and where they were found at. So you get a fully pathed file in there. You can exclude the get of files if you want. So yeah, this is a really fast little function that runs. It can go through, you know, hundreds of folders and files in a matter of a couple seconds. So that's a pretty neat tool in there, inside there, should you ever need one. Let's see, other than that, we've pretty much hit on a lot of the stuff I have in here. But that'll be included here. Actually, it's included in almost everything I've put out there. So just about, if you go to just about anything you download from me, if it's got source in it, examples and such, you'll see these files tagged along. I normally put them in a include folder like they are here, static and icon helper. And recently I did one with data grid helper and that sort of thing. So that's what this video touches on, and I hope you found it helpful. Thanks a lot for your time.